San Francisco. Hey, Richie, so glad to have
Hey,
you back.
hey, thank you. It's been a very long 2 weeks, and I
Mhm.
know that we have a lot to talk about and to catch up on. And even listeners and viewers have been reaching out, wondering, where are we? Where's the next episode? Well, here it is, and welcome everybody to Really San Francisco, the podcast that's talking about everything San Francisco and beyond. So, Erica, what are your thoughts? What have we? What's big in the news that we're going to be talking about today?
So much has happened while you were cavorting in Rome and Montreal,
Yeah.
having a great old time. Meanwhile, the city was in uh, a riot. We were having a riot. It's pretty crazy. So, but okay, I can't remember. When did you get back, Richie?
So I got back. Today's what? Monday. I got back late Saturday evening from Montreal. I was there for 4 days, 3 nights, right
Mhm.
in the city center, right in the downtown city of Montreal. I've never been there before, and there was the jazz festival, if you're familiar with the French Quarter Fest or Jazz Fest in New Orleans and main cities around the country, around the world. They have their own little variations and not so little also. And this was Montreal's. And I didn't know it was going on. I didn't plan it that way. It just happened to be that when I was passing through, it happened. And the hotel that I was at, the DoubleTree, was right at ground zero. It was an amazing place to have booked. Again, not knowing that that was right there, but the rates weren't crazy high. And there were it's going on for I think 10 days, and the music was really good. A lot of unknown bands to me, to us, because they're not necessarily American. They're French, they're other countries, they're British, they're Canadian, so they have their own flavor, and a lot of it was really good. I'd even be willing to do like an episode or to write up something about that kind of event separately. But coming,
Yeah.
going to Montreal, that was actually the return from me being in Rome. Yes, Rome, Italy, for 10 days before that. So I went on the 14th of June all the way until just a few days ago. And that was amazing. I've never been to Rome either. And that was with a family celebration, a wedding. People from all over flew in from France and from here, from California and everywhere. We went over there. And as you and everyone who's paying attention has been hearing about the weather, it was extremely, very hot there, mid to upper 90s, and walking around and taking taxis around the historic city center of Rome and all other sites and historic things. It was really difficult. You had to have reservations to go into some of these things, and it was the only thing that was available at times was mid to later afternoon, which is the height of the heat. So
So did it tamper the crowds at all? Because I mean, Rome can get really
Um,
crowded.
I mean, I've never been there before to gauge, but no, like in the Colosseum, there were, thousands of people there wandering around and going on tours. We went to the Spanish Steps. We went to all the different places there that the one good thing that we did is we booked um, a private golf cart based tour. So we had a tour guide that had a electric 6 person golf cart that are street legal there, and we were able to go around and see all the major sites, at least from the outside. It was 3 hours, and even in the heat, it was okay because we have the breeze. We were covered overhead, and we went to the Vatican, took some pictures outside the Vatican. So we get it's kind of like what you see here in San Francisco, where the open top hop on, hop off buses. So this wasn't exactly hop off, but we were able to stop and take pictures and had a really
Mhm.
great tour guide. So
Yeah, those are cool. Yeah,
yeah,
we did that in Lisbon. But let's get to it. We have
let's get
so
to it.
much to cover.
We
Okay,
do.
so you missed the crescendo of Pride Month,
Hmm.
which happened while you were gone, but you just got back for uh, the March.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
well,
I was still watching what was going on. I was
that's
still
true.
paying attention. You know, you've got there is internet over there in Italy and in Montreal, so Montreal, as they
Okay,
say. And
but a
I
big
saw what
incident
was
happened.
happening. Yeah.
Yeah, so
What
big
happened?
thing happened. Senator Scott Wiener, who was in Dolores Park,
Hmm.
he was there, and uh, he was essentially mobbed by some people who were screaming at him, throwing out accusations, following him, threatening. It looked ugly.
And
It
they were
got
telling him
ugly.
that he doesn't belong, that he needs to get out, right?
That's
Basically.
right. That's right.
Now, how important to this whole story is that we say who it was in general that were accosting and harassing him. It wasn't just people.
Extremely. It's vital. It's
It's
vital.
vital. Yep.
Everybody keep, not everybody, but a lot of media outlets have gotten it wrong.
Hmm.
Pundits gotten it wrong. These are lunatics. These
Yep.
are homegrown,
Hmm.
our people who
Hmm.
are doing this. You and I have encountered them many times
Yep.
throughout the years. They are insane. They are not just anti-Semitic, if you want to say just in front of that.
Hmm.
They are they they don't put two
No.
and two together very well.
Yeah. No.
They're not smart and they're not sane.
no, they're not. And let's look at this, you know, with realistic glasses on now, right? So, Scott Wiener is a champion of the LGBTQIA plus and all the abbreviations and stuff, and so this was a trans event, right? And it was uh, trans gathering, trans march, the staging area, and Scott Wiener finds himself, whether he did it on purpose or just the way it happened organically, he's walking through an area and alone and gets accosted by the trans individuals, not just the simply L, lesbian, or gay. These were the trans extremists. And that needs to be pointed out over and over again, the trans extremists. That doesn't
Or
mean,
and their allies. This doesn't,
and the
not all
allies.
of them. All right.
Right,
And I hate
right.
the word ally. I really do. God
I
help me
do.
if I'm ever called an ally. I'm not an ally. I'm a friend, or I believe in something, but an ally.
Supporter? How about a
Support. I
supporter?
can support something because then you can pull it back and go, okay, you no longer have my support. Right? I mean, it's much more
Yeah,
fluid, but this
yeah.
ally business. But yeah,
Hmm.
for sure. So it was
That's
through
who
the
it was.
trans community,
And
but also their hangers on and right.
yeah, so that's what happens. He is recorded cowering, walking very despondently, very you know, like a puppy with the tail between the legs, trying to walk away from this all. And he's yelled at, he's screamed at, he's accused, he's being thrown out. He's saying, you know, you don't belong here. Fuck you, Scott Wiener, and all of this. So yeah,
And it
this is
got worse
and
and
it got
worse
worse and
and
worse
worse.
and worse.
The more he ran, the more
Hmm.
he put his head down, the more
Yep.
he looked
Yep.
scared, the worse
Yep.
it got for him. And that really made me angry. And I got
Hmm.
to tell you, Richie, it didn't make me angry necessarily for the people who were doing it because they're already bad people.
Correct.
They're not worth a whole lot
Hmm.
in any case, right? But where where's the stones on this guy?
Hmm.
Why did he not stand up?
He
And
looks like
what
such a wuss, a wimp,
Oh, for
this
God's
poor
sake.
little fucking schmuck. That's what he
Thank
looks like,
you.
a putz, and
A
you know,
coward.
a coward. And I have seen. I mean, we can keep going on with just unleashing the words
I
against him,
would
but
never.
because
I would never.
people, you know, I saw on one of our friends, mutual friends, Mark. He created a really good image meme of this. So if you look at and if you portray the extremist, the trans extremist individuals as Frankenstein, right? So you have Scott Wiener who created or embraced the extremist Frankenstein, and now Frankenstein has now come back to attack the creator. So I think it's very appropriate in this case because you see, this is a Frankenstein, right? And they're coming back at Scott. Why though, Erica? Why are they attacking him when he has been their supporter, their champion, their ally, their friend? Because he's not trans. What?
Yeah.
Why are they attacking him?
It's complicated, but one thing for sure, he's Jewish and he did not condemn Israel. That's
Enough. He
why.
did, but not
He
enough.
did, but not enough.
That's right.
Exactly,
That's
because guess
that's the
what?
whole
It's
thing.
never enough. It's never enough.
Exactly. Yep. Yep. Because at one point in past history, Scott was a member of the California Jewish Legislative Caucus. So it's a bunch of Jews that get together and their allies uh, uh, in Sacramento to create legislation from a Jewish perspective.
Yeah.
So, and Scott, as we know, over the past has run around to different synagogues and different Jewish events and Hanukkah candle lighting events and all of that to be part and integrated and show his integration with the Jewish community. He's never hidden that. But for some reason now, in the last 6 months to a year, where he has launched his campaign to run for Congress to succeed Nancy Pelosi to take her seat and hopefully win her seat from his perspective, not mine, but his. Um, he's distancing himself from Judaism. He is distancing himself from Israel, from Zionism, from support for Israel, and all of that. And that famous event that happened earlier this year, where he flip-flopped and changed his mind at a campaign. No, actually, it was a candidate forum where he first didn't want to say that Israel is committing a genocide. Then he created a little video follow-up afterwards and said, yes, he has reflected on this, and now Israel is committing a genocide. And that basically threw all of his Jewish supporters, the Jewish voters of San Francisco, he threw under the bus. He was forced to resign from the Jewish Legislative Caucus and more. And a lot of the Jewish organizations condemned him. So now maybe he lost the Jewish vote, but for sure he has really pissed us off, including me.
I'm disgusted with the
Yeah,
lack of conviction, the lack of character.
yeah,
You either believe something or you don't, and you
yeah.
don't throw everything away just so that you can get a vote.
Mhm.
It's really a
That's
gross move.
exactly what he did. What an
Right.
asshole move to do that against Jews here, us Jews. You know,
And what did it do for him? Right. Then you still get screamed at. You
right.
still get uh, attacked. It's
Yep.
not going to stop. So you may as
W-
well just be
And and
yourself.
and he's learning this. He's learning
Mhm.
this, and wouldn't it be interesting to see him now flip-flop back? Because he realized now that it's not helping him, that he has been uh, genuinely or insincerely uh, saying that it was a genocide. Well, now it's not a genocide. So he's going to come back again, swing the pendulum all the way back to the other side and say, well, you know what? I embrace Judaism. I love all you guys. I love fellow Jews, and Israel's not committing a genocide. Will, will that actually help him more now because he's going to see that? Um, yeah, I don't know. I
I
can't see
don't
him.
know.
I don't think he's not going to do that.
I
But
doubt it. I doubt
yeah.
it. But I think he is being condemned for some very appropriate reasons where it's you made this, you
Yeah,
fostered this,
that's
you
right. The
let it
Frankenstein.
happen.
Yep,
Right,
yep.
exactly. You let it happen, and now it's coming back to bite you. And of course, nobody wants that kind of attack, which it was. It was disgusting. Those
Two. It
people
was
are,
two. It was two. Two.
yes,
It was
two.
two. It was 2 different days.
They were
One,
two different days. Yeah.
right. One in a cafe, a very
Hmm.
loud cafe,
Yeah.
where these people came and accosted him and recorded him just sitting there like a whimpering fucking little puppy. And then, and he said nothing. He just sat there cowering, sour, like they were physically beating him. Well, with the words, right? To him, he was being berated with words. And that image got all over the news. It's not just here in San Francisco, but all over
No.
national news. This wuss, not saying anything,
If
this,
you don't
oh
stand
my
up,
God.
if you don't stand up for yourself,
Yeah,
if you don't stand up for yourself and for what you believe in, what, how
yeah.
can the public expect that person to stand up for you, right?
Because Erica, he's not used to this. He is not used to being confronted by his policies, by his convictions, by his statements. He's not used to being confronted face to face. He loves being behind the keyboard and just going wild on condemning people and calling everybody left and right fascists and the MAGA Republicans
Oh
and
my Lord.
trashing everybody, trashing Trump, trashing J.D. Vance, trashing Stephen Miller, like that's the chief of policy, right? He's out there, big guy. He's like this, big important me. Look at me, Scott Wiener, running for Congress. I can say any fucking thing I want about anyone. I can trash anybody that I want, and I'm doing it online, and no one's stopping me. And I'm having a great response to this because the conservatives and even a lot of the moderate Democrats and the MAGA Republicans are all fascists and white supremacists and Christian nationalists. And he has just been railing on everybody, right? And no one is pushing back because it's
Right.
behind the keyboard, right? Now
Yeah.
he's
And
in person, and he has this. Now I'm speculating this, of course. He has this air of extreme superiority that everyone universally loves him and his message and his persona. And he walks around, and I put a little list up here. Why the fuck was he walking around alone? What kind of moron does that? A sitting California state senator, a legislator, and now a candidate running for Congress. He is alone. He always goes around with no staff, with no entourage, no protection, no police, no nobody, no nothing. And he thinks he could do that and it's not be a problem. Why is he alone? Right? Number one. Number two, did he or will he soon file a police report or an FBI report detailing this? And also, he was recorded without permission. I know that's a little bit dubious there, but California has a two-party consent state for recording audio and visual. Some will say, well, he was out in the public. Yeah, but when you have people come over and they start talking things to harass, and they stalked him, right? That potentially is an issue. Um, and then, Erica, there's a significant number of people out there who think that this whole thing was actually staged. Have you heard that?
no, I haven't heard that. I have
There,
heard something equally as ridiculous that that the people who were harassing him were doing so because he's a YIMBY. And that's the reason.
no, a
And you know
YIMBY,
what?
yes,
No.
he's pro housing, right?
Yeah,
YIMBY
he's
means
pro housing.
pro, really, really ramping up and firing on all cylinders. Let's really build housing. We need to build affordable housing in all parts of the city. That's him, and people don't like that.
So no, let's shift this a little bit, Richie,
Yeah.
because we can talk about Senator Scott Wiener all day.
Yep.
What we like, what we don't like, what we find completely perplexing and horrifying, whatever. But
Yeah.
let's talk about the people, the attackers, because
Ah,
they are quite the bunch.
yeah. But they're known. They're known, right? People
They
know
are
who they are.
known. They are
Because
known.
I don't want to interrupt much, but this I believe this same group, or at least a couple of the front people
Mhm.
that went after Wiener, also did the same a year ago, almost a year ago to the day, with Mayor Daniel Lurie in almost the
Yes.
same spot. right? He
exactly.
came out. Lurie was there, but he had a little bit of protection. He's the mayor, right? And he walks through this similar area, and people come over and start confronting Lurie. They yell at him, tell him they don't want him there. He doesn't belong. And he also, like a little wimpy little putz, runs away as well. So this is not the first time that these individuals have done that. And we see online, social media, on Twitter, X, people are naming these individuals who are doing this. So these individuals are known.
They are known. I have interacted with them. One
Ah,
of them, the main guy, is named Dimitri. And
yeah.
what is his last name?
I don't recall.
It is a Russian last name.
Yeah.
He is that I have it on here.
It's okay. Our listeners
Oh
have
yeah,
plenty of time.
Yakushkin,
Yakush something.
Yakushkin. Okay,
Yeah.
so this guy, and it's really interesting because just a few days before the incident with Scott Wiener,
Hmm.
this guy came out on Friday. It was on the Friday. The incident with Wiener was, I believe, on Saturday or Sunday, whatever.
Hmm.
Um, so JJ Smith,
Hmm.
who is a local community, I would say, activist. He's very protective over the Tenderloin and the city of San
And
Francisco.
yeah, citizen journalist. He's out there with his cameras capturing all the drug addicts and drug dealers on a daily basis out on the streets in the morning, overnight. Yeah,
A,
great guy.
I definitely consider him a friend. He is
Yep.
a tough character. He is
JJ is awesome. Yep.
heart of gold. But he speaks
Hmm.
the truth and he stands up. And so when he saw Dimitri on the street and who was trying to instigate an issue on the
Hmm.
street with SFPD, well, guess who stood up? It was JJ, and he
Hmm.
did not let Dimitri get
Hmm.
a sliver of daylight in between him and the truth.
Yeah.
JJ went full force into the fray and said, I know you. I know what you do. You will not get away with this. Come
Hmm.
at me because
Hmm.
I'm coming at you.
Hmm.
That's the way to
Awesome.
do it. Dimitri was left
Hmm.
speechless. He
Yeah.
couldn't there was no reaction he could have given. He knew he was in the wrong, and there's nothing
Hmm.
that he could do with somebody who stands up loud and proud and says,
Hmm.
what you're
Yeah.
doing, should,
Yeah.
you need to stop because I
Yeah.
know who you are, right?
That's right. I mean, and that's you
Okay.
got to put them in their place. You have
Exactly.
to give it back and say, "You're not intimidating me. Stop the harassment. I know you by name. I know you by face. We know who you are. Stop it."
Exactly. You stand up, you stand proud, you stand tall, and if you need to, you move forward.
Yeah. And
Look,
Scott Wiener did neither none of those things.
no,
Didn't stand up, didn't
incredibly
push
frustrating.
back, did
It-
nothing but sit and cower like a little
yes,
pathetic puppy. We
I
keep
know.
saying that, but
It just
and people that I know just saw the video within the last hour or so of you and I sitting down right now. Some people just talked to me, so I just saw that video now that you're all talking about, that you were telling us about. I can't believe it, but this is another problem, Erica,
oh,
is that
100%.
the problem is um, Scott Wiener is now spinning this to show how he was attacked based on what he stands up for, rather than why he's so controversial. And he's going to spin this, and he is, and the media through today, almost universally, except for a couple of outlets, never explained how he is a controversial person going all the way back, 10 years since in office. And this is an issue as well. So this incident most likely is going to help him at the polls.
Oh,
Because,
I think so.
yeah, and that's unfortunate because I don't think he deserves this. I do not think, because of how controversial he is and how detrimental he has been in dealing with the issues that are so important here in San Francisco and California, that there are people up and down the state that are screaming to recall him, screaming to oppose him. Well, we can't recall him and oppose him. Only San Francisco voters get to vote to either put him into Congress or
Mhm.
to elect his opponent, Connie Chan. And this is really, really problematic because I don't think that he deserves to be in Congress. I think an absolute moron. I think his policies and his priorities are so far out of whack. He's come up with legislation that has wound up passing because he has all of his comrades in the legislature in Sacramento
Mhm.
to pass things that are so narrowly specific on LGBT issues when you have people dying on the streets here in the city on a daily basis, right? You've got crime, you have drug addiction, you have drug dealers, and he has all but either ignored that or he has opposed it, meaning opposed legislation to help with dealing with that. And so because of that, he is an extremely ineffective legislator. And he's a lightning rod, and he's this foul-mouthed little ass that just keeps slamming our effective federal government leadership, all for points with his voters.
Okay, well, do you want to hear my opinion on him?
Go for it.
Get ready because it's really strong. He's
Please.
not he's not
Go,
to my taste.
go.
As my grandmother would say, he's not to my taste. And I will leave. To me, it's like he's his platform is. I don't agree with anything. I really don't. I don't think he's a kind person. I don't. I have a lot of problems with him as a person, as a politician, where his focus has been. I don't think he is in any way genuine. I don't know what drives him. Is it power? Maybe. I mean, I think that's probably the what typically does drive a person to become a politician and to ascend. But that's such a weak thing to me.
Yeah.
It's like, do you want to help your community? Do you want to make good for the city and represent San Francisco in the best way possible? I don't see it. I
Mhm.
know people I love there. In fact, there are people who I love who support him. What can I do? Can you do? You just kind of throw your hands up and say that, well,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah.
not to my
I know.
taste, he's to your taste. What do you do with that? Um, Connie Chan, the challenger, to me, no
Mhm.
better. Same, same
Different,
difference.
different,
Yeah.
and she's getting a lot of heat also from the Wiener aligned people saying that Connie Chan is not working enough, not focused enough in local city politics as a sitting member of our city council, the Board of Supervisors. She's not doing enough for housing, right?
Right.
That seems to be the main thing.
Okay.
But, Connie Chan has the endorsement of Nancy Pelosi, and Scott
Hmm.
Wiener doesn't. And this weekend, which was uh, June is closing out tomorrow, right? And June, as a lot of people know, is Pride Month, Gay Pride Month, San Francisco Gay Pride Weekend with all of the festivities and the big parade was yesterday, was it? And so Connie and Nancy Pelosi campaigning together on a cable car and going around the city and waving their rainbow flags and so Connie has a very different trajectory, a very different momentum, different supporters, and I don't know what's going to happen now in November when we get to election day to see who's going to win. But I think there's going to be more, I predict there's going to be more kinds of incidents like this with attacks on Scott Wiener between now and November. What do you think?
I think so. And I do think that if I were his advisor, which would be a very funny role for me to be, to have.
I'd advise him to drop out.
Okay.
Okay, I would tell him you're toxic. you're toxic wiener, Scott.
Okay. Well,
Your wiener is toxic.
I would tell him to. He's what is he 6'5", something like this. I would
No,
say,
taller. He's six foot
is he taller?
seven. They call him
Six
the
foot seven.
giraffe.
Yeah,
He's
I
six foot
never heard of
seven.
him.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That and he
Um,
actually has that when he campaigns. It's a giraffe, and
yeah, I
it
know.
morphs into him to a giraffe back to him.
Yes, I know. I've seen it.
It's-
I guess I would say if you want to ingratiate yourself to the public,
yeah,
the
yeah,
voting public, San Francisco voters, right?
yeah.
You're, I think the better approach would be to stop with the hangdog look, to stop looking like a victim. You did not deserve. I don't believe for a second, not one tiny fraction of a second, that he deserved that because I don't believe anybody deserves that. I think you and I may
True.
differ on that, but I don't believe it. I think it was disgusting, appalling, repulsive behavior. You're going to be
Yeah.
followed by some cretins who are screaming the worst
Hmm.
possible things to
Hmm.
you
Yep.
about you.
Hmm.
No, never, ever, ever. Okay. I think that those people should be charged with a hate crime, with a
Yep.
crime. Just ugh, disgusting people.
But but
I
but
could,
but he's not
but
going to do that. That's the
he
problem. I don't want to
won't.
interrupt. He won't. Why? Because politically it would look really bad that he's going after, prosecution of the people that he's trying to champion. That's the
Bada
problem.
boom.
There you
Exactly.
go. So
Exactly.
so again, not that it was a stunt, but there are people out there that think that this was maybe even not only staged, but that whole controversy now that it's come out with the Southern Poverty Law Center. Are you familiar with
Mhm.
that? That's where,
Of course.
of course. So they actually that center was actually arranging and paying for their hated people to now, come up with incidents and events to now combat. So I could see potentially that's what happened here, that there was a tip off, a payoff, an arranging to come out and harass Scott Wiener and say, here he's going to be. He knew he was going to be there. They arranged it. There was
It's
the attack
possible.
for for the views, for the media to try and
Um,
make him look like the victim. So
it's possible.
this is what some
Uh,
people out there are saying, and they're sending me this information. I think it was a
yeah,
setup.
yeah,
It was
yeah, yeah.
staged. So
You
anyway,
know,
yeah,
I think the delightful thing about life is that you can speculate all you want. This
hmm,
is what you can do. You can take it in all sorts of crazy directions. And
yep.
there may be an element of truth to that. We don't know. I don't know.
And I
So
hope not. I really hope not, because then it would show that Scott Wiener is really into exploiting any situation he can for a vote. He exploited, uh, the LGBT community. He exploited the Jewish community. Now he's trying to exploit the trans community and the media in order to gain compassion for him. So that way, yeah, let's vote him in because he deserves it. No, that's not. That's really a terrible thing.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But it's also interesting, and I think this is a great segue, and we
yeah,
can at least touch on it now, and then maybe we can explore this in greater depth later. But
yeah.
San Francisco does not have as strong of a relationship with the DSA as other cities. Now,
Yes,
some of those
that's
people
right.
who are involved in that attack and around and their circle of friends who I
Hmm.
do happen to know, you happen to know, these are just very fringe
Yeah.
people. But they chitter chatter a lot online.
Hmm.
They're on X, they're on Blue Sky, they're I don't see them in person because I'm not
Okay.
sure they ever leave their mom's basement, but they're out and about. But
Yeah, yeah.
these are the people who are really involved in deep socialism and communism, and
Hmm.
some of them do go to the rallies and to the protests and
Yeah.
that type of thing.
Hmm.
But compared to other cities, San Francisco has been largely immune from that.
Hmm.
It's not Seattle,
Yeah.
Portland,
Hmm.
Minneapolis,
And
New
even
York,
Berkeley-ish, but it's not nearly
Berkeley,
to that volume, to that size.
LA.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think this is such an interesting topic
Yeah.
because there actually just recently. and I've been bombarding my husband with this very topic for at least several years. Like, what's going on? Why are we have our own version, but it's not that. What's
Hmm.
going on? But just lately, the topic has come up in
Hmm.
the media. The Standard had
Hmm.
somebody write something about it. But why
Hmm.
is San Francisco immune? Why do we not have a strong DSA?
Hmm.
What
Well,
say
we
you?
don't want it, of course.
No,
We
not a.
don't want it. And because we've seen already the results of having a socialist extremist in office, and
Oh,
we've
and for
already
listeners
seen that.
out there who don't know what the DSA is, the
Sorry,
Democratic Socialist
Socialist of
of
America.
America. And then
Yeah,
the San Francisco branch is the SFDSA, not
yeah,
DSA, SF. So,
yeah,
yes.
whichever. But yeah, we've already seen, like from Chesa Bodine having a non-prosecution prosecutor. We've seen Dean Preston. We've seen Hillary Ronan. I mean, they're kind of like light versions, sort of, but and then Jackie Fielder of late, who I don't, has she returned to?
She did, yes.
She did. Okay, because she was running out of time. She went on a couple of months hiatus because of she had some psychological issues and stresses, and she had to take a leave of absence. So now she's back. But so those individuals, we've seen what hardcore socialist dogma kind of a policy and proposals can do. We've lived it and we've rejected it and we've thrown them out. So we are actually ahead of the curve. We are ahead of the socialist influence is in different cities. So we've lived it, and now we're sitting back watching other cities trying to now go through their cycle of enamored by this and then realizing, wow, how detrimental it is, and then throwing them out. That's
Yeah,
my view.
I think you're right. I think it is not as sexy to us
Mm-mm.
because,
Yeah, it's
well,
gross. I
it's
need to take a sh
vanilla.
I need to take a shower after this because this is just it's like giving me the cooties. Ugh. All right. On that note, Erica, I think we should wrap things up. And I hope, and I'm saying this, Erica, and I hope that we haven't overly offended any listeners in today's podcast because we really hit hard on every. But you know, I don't want to say I don't care. That's not really it. But this is the reality of what we're living here in San Francisco with the politics and the exploitation and the gross. Ugh, what do you
You,
think, Erica?
I totally agree. And I think I know the intention of this podcast is not obviously to offend. Hopefully it's to have some entertainment as we
Educate,
talk,
educate,
educate, as we talk
entertainment.
about
Yeah,
as we talk about the things that are really going on in our
yeah,
city, that are important. Um, but ultimately, ultimately, I guess my message is know who you are, really analyze the facts, understand what's going on, and then have courage. Have
yeah.
courage to stand up and say, look, this is what I believe. This is what you do. You do this all the time, Richie, right? You
Mm-hmm.
stand up for
Yeah,
what you believe in.
of course.
I do my best to do the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
Mm-hmm.
try not to be scared. There's nothing to be frightened of when
Yeah.
you are holding yourself strong and saying, well, this is who I am and what I believe. And
Yep.
if you want to attack me for it, that's on you,
Mm-hmm.
right? Me, I'm just,
But and
go
and
ahead.
and one thing, if you're going to attack me for
Mhm.
something that I believe, expect retaliation. Expect that I'm going to come right back at you, and I'm going to hit you, verbally or whatever, with an equal or more powerful set of words back at you. Just because we have the First Amendment that gives you, someone, the right to say something against me, even if it's offensive, does not mean that you're not going to hear immediately right back and have me strike right back at you. And
No,
that's
I
right.
agree. I
Yeah.
mean, how about this? And we can end.
Yep.
And at the same time, try to keep yourself safe in terms of like
Yes.
enjoy, have fun.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself in situations that are kind of a guaranteed you're going to be in a problematic
That's right.
position.
Okay.
Um, but
Yeah,
take control of your life and of your city because this is what we do. So,
that's right.
Richie, I'm so glad that you're back. Let's get this going a little
I
bit
am
more
too.
often.
I'm
So,
loving the, 58 degrees at night and 65 during the day.
um,
I'm actually wearing a sweatshirt. It's great to be back. Great to be back in the city by the bay. Great to be back with you, Erica. And I missed you. I missed everybody, and I'm happy that we're recording again, and we'll be back on the air more regularly coming up very soon.
and thank you to all the listeners. This is really San Francisco signing off for
Yeah.
today.